Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, if you clicked on this video, thank you. But if you did, you're probably wondering what is the potential and the truth behind a C3.AI short squeeze. We're going to be talking about that, especially looking at some important metrics to understand and not just looking at some of these overall metrics that can be misleading. Now, of course, if you're new to the channel, we do daily videos on everything regarding the stock market and different types of trending news. So subscribe, hit that like button, and watch the full video. I really appreciate you guys supporting a smaller content creator like this channel. Now, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Just doing research, sharing it with the world, and hoping that someone can learn something from this. But it's not investment advice, and do not take it as investment advice. So let's pop it up on the screen, talk about C3.AI here. You see, last market close is at $30.55. It'll be interesting to see what happens with C3.AI, especially with this trading week, and we have earnings that will be coming here in the near future. Right now, they are predicted to be released September 6th. They went from August 30th, and then they got moved to September 6th post-market is when we're going to get the next quarter earnings. Trading volume was at about 9 million for the last market close, and market cap right now is sitting at about 3.5 billion. We see C3.AI kind of coming down in price a little bit right here. You see this at this 30.55, and zooming out, really important here. If C3.AI continues to fall, where are the next support levels? You see, we do have a little bit of support here in the 25, nothing too crazy, but you see this much longer, kind of from all the way from February to about April, support holding, especially with these kind of stronger falls, good bounce backs and swings, support strong there at that $20. Now, do we have a calming of this AI boom and this AI rally, especially in the industry and with more of these speculative tech stocks that are getting into artificial intelligence and really getting their feet wet with AI? Could we see a little bit of a cool off that's happening right now? Possibly. Now, the question is, what about a short squeeze? We see people talking about it. What's the potential for that right now? Now, with C3.AI, you do have the price that is decreasing. And like I said, down about 20%, 23% in the last month here to be exact. Talking about they're looking at their earnings release, I think this is going to be a really strong indicator of how the business is doing wise in terms of just their financials. And right now they're looking at earnings per share to be predicted at about negative 17 cents per share and revenues of about 71 million, which would be up about 10% from the previous last year quarter. Now, talking about that, if C3 is able to meet these expectations or even beat their expectations like they did with the last quarter, we could possibly see some confidence coming into people taking more of a bullish position on C3.AI, even though right now it is at a high valuation, a high premium. The stock is expensive and is valued at a high because a lot of people are taking a bullish position on its future. But with C3, if they do not meet their expectations, if they missed it, if they missed their revenue expectations of that 71 million or whatever it was, then we could see a decrease in price. And that goes to the next metric, which is the short values. Let's talk about these metrics right here. Talking about their common stock, right now the current shares that are shorted is about 30 million out of 96 million shares in the float. Now, shares in the float are basically the amount of outstanding shares that are available to the public to be publicly traded. You have 30 million of those that are currently on a short position, which leads you to about 32%. This is decently high for a stock, and this is why many people are asking the question, does C3.AI have the potential to see a short squeeze? Now, one thing that is important to note is another metric that a lot of people sometimes don't even know what it means or basically pay attention to the importance behind it, and that is the short interest ratio, otherwise known as the days to cover. Now, this is one. What the short interest ratio is, how this ratio is calculated, is basically by the amount of shares that are currently short, which is at this 30 million, divided by the daily average trading volume. And that daily average trading volume is at about 29 million right now, which basically that 30 million over 29 million is basically one, maybe a little bit higher. What this means is that it takes about 1 day on average for all of the short positions to be covered. And especially during a short squeeze, if we go back to the metrics right here, if C3.AI started climbing in price and these shorts aren't available, they're trying to cover their positions because they don't want to keep losing money, and there could be an infinite loss if the stock were to infinitely go up, theoretically. So they want to cover their shares and they want to get out of their short position. When this number is higher, you could have a greater effect of the actual short squeeze. But right now, where we are at only 1 day to cover, this means that if C3.AI went up to 40 bucks tomorrow and all of a sudden, or even in a trading day, and everybody freaks out and says, oh my gosh, I need to cover my short position, they could cover that all in just on average in about a day. Now, that could really negate the effect of a short squeeze. And of course, this has a lot of theology behind it, but it makes sense. And if we look at that, if you want the short interest ratio to increase, what we'd have to look at is trading volume to really come down. If you had daily trading volumes really come down to much lower numbers rather than about 30 million right now on average, then it could take a lot longer for those shorts to cover, and then you have a potential effect or greater effect exponentially on the short squeeze. Now, with that being said, trading volumes are kind of actually coming down, and we do have that at about right now 9 million at the last market close. If we see a little bit of a decrease here in trading volumes, and this can still, and more people are taking short positions, and this does increase, that short interest or days to cover, that ratio will start to increase. And there, I think I'll probably be looking closer at the potential. But right now, I just don't see it as a great potential personally. Now, that doesn't mean that something couldn't happen crazy. This is a stock market, and crazy things do happen. So I want to know, what are your comments? What are your suggestions? And did you like this video? Leave it down in the comments. Let's start a discussion. I love talking to you guys. Take care. Peace out. And I'll catch you guys later.